So, Steve, it's glad to see you back. Just didn't expect it to be so soon. So, how did it all come about? It happened quite quickly.
Yeah, as you say, this time last week, it would probably have been the last thing on my mind, to be completely honest. I was obviously focusing on a pre-season of my own. Yeah, just back end of the week, obviously the news broke that Luke had decided to step aside. And yeah, the conversations obviously then been initiated. It's difficult because on the one hand, it's obviously it's a club that I've got a lot of positive feelings for, and it's a big club as well. But at the other side of the coin, obviously I've put a lot of time and energy into the project I was in the middle of. So it's been a lot of soul searching on that front, and after speaking to my management team at Uckfield and them all committing to staying there, it kind of just gave me as much peace of mind as I was ever going to have, that I was not leaving them in a complete turmoil. And yeah, I was then obviously delighted to accept the opportunity. I only left Tunbridge Wells because I had a desire to be a manager again. So I guess opportunities like this don't come around very often.
Well, what was it that swung you in the end to say, I've got to come back?
I think once I had the security that I wasn't leaving Uckfield completely in the lurch, because that would have sat too heavy on my conscience.
Doing the decent thing, I guess.
So I literally spoke to all my management team and all the players, and but particularly the management team, and I just said, look, you guys, will you stay, so that I feel like I can kind of give this opportunity a crack. And once they said yeah, then the prospect of coming back to Tunbridge Wells is obviously massively exciting, and I'm honoured and grateful that I've been given the opportunity.
Yeah, because I mean, coming back here, you've seen about people staying. While you're aware, there was quite a few sort of changes to the coaching setup.
Yeah.
It looks like everybody's sort of stay around to be under you. So, I mean, what are your plans there?
I think, in all honesty, Luke has obviously put together a really strong team in terms of backroom staff, and I'm fortunate enough that I'm going to be able to benefit from that. Joffy's obviously someone who's well known to me. He's a friend of mine, known him for years, and Luke made a really great decision getting him involved with the coaching. Steph, I've met and I've spoke to, and it seems like we're really aligned. Again, the thing is, and Adam, and likewise Adam as well. Adam's a top guy, so Luke have put together a strong team. They're all committed to the club, and I think it was really, they wanted to stay unless they thought I was a bit of an idiot, or and it would appear that at the moment they haven't drawn that conclusion. So I've basically just parachuted in, and all the rest of the team's going to stay the same. Richard Withers, who was the physio when George wasn't here last year, he's come back. He's a Tunbridge Wells guy.
That's a big shot in the arm, isn't it? Getting the physio back.
It's important. Obviously, George was a massive loss stepping away last season, so that was the only real seat that needed filling. And having Rich is fantastic for me. So yeah, I'm benefiting from the strong foundations that are here already.
Yeah, especially for the sort of like the changing room. It's good that you kept Barry around as a kit.
Oh yeah, Baz is a top bloke. I was devastated that I wasn't going to see Baz every Saturday. Me and him had a good relationship. He's on holiday at the moment, but we're already speaking via social media and WhatsApp. So I'm looking forward to catching up with him.
Yeah, because when you were sort of, well, we've been at training tonight, so I guess that's the first time you've had to talk to players. But I mean, you kept 13, so from last season, hopefully you can remember a few. You'll know some like Luke Bedford. You saw them Saturday at training, so I'm guessing it's a case of just see what you've got at the moment and then work out whether you need to add or change the squad.
Yeah, I guess to be honest, I've got to be realistic. Probably the main reason I've been considered a candidate for this is because of the continuity that I'm able to bring. The fact that I know all the boys, the timing probably means that a safe pair of hands and someone that knows the boys was probably what was called for. So yeah, I know most of the guys. Luke Leppard would be a new signing, but he's a friend of mine and he's well known to me, so that's not a problem at all. I've met a couple of the new guys that have been here tonight, and they all seem like really good lads. I watched the game on Saturday, and just like anyone who was there watching, I think I was impressed by the way the team played. Even some of the younger boys who featured on Saturday, I think they demonstrated that there's a bright future, and given the opportunity they'll all step up. So I'm kind of the mentality, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We haven't got time to go reinventing things tactically too much, and I think Joff and Steph laid down a reasonably simple blueprint for the boys on Saturday, and it worked well, so I won't be deviating from that, certainly in the short term.
Yeah, because I think fans' reaction being it's a bit like Back to the Future in a way. Cause
who's that make me Doc?
Yeah, but there's all the foundations that have been laid that you can come into, but that was because you laid those foundations, so that's a definite positive that people can see.
I played my part, you know. I mean, you know, Luke was the manager. Luke did what he thought was best. We definitely probably did lay good foundations. Yeah, there's no question. Some of the players that are here are well known to me, and you know, I think the fact that me coming in gives them the confidence and the stability that people won't leave Tunbridge Wells. From a playing perspective, people aren't going to leave Tunbridge Wells without a lot of soul searching anyway. So it wasn't a big job to convince people to stay.
Yeah, because like you said, it is early doors, but what's the strategy you're going to be? Because you've got so many clubs just chucking ridiculous amounts of money at it.
Yeah.
I mean, what should our expectations be?
I think it's quite exciting actually. I think, you know, I'd rather be in a competitive league than in a flat one, you know. So what will our strategy be? First and foremost, we want to be close knit. We want to be working really hard. We want to be together. A lot of cliches in that one sentence, but it's the reality. I think we've just got to make ourselves really hard to beat, really work out. I'll be looking for us to outwork most of every opponent. That'll be the aim, to outwork them, to outcompete them. And I believe we've got a little bit of quality that, as long as we're not giving anyone any gifts, we're always going to be a threat to the goal, as shown on Saturday. So.
Yeah, because I guess you haven't even had time to think yet, let alone plan sort of a style of play. But I guess that's you're going to work out in the first sort of month or so. I guess, is it? Yeah. How you're going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think the blueprint was probably laid down on Saturday. I had a chat with Joffy and Steph. What they were intending on doing wasn't a million miles away from what I'd kind of thought in my head might work with what we had. So, yeah, we haven't got the time on the training ground in the short term to go doing anything dramatically different anyway. So I feel like the simplicity of giving people roles that they understand, that's simple, and just focusing on being really hard to beat and working really hard. I just generally believe there's enough quality here. When you look at the forwards and the attackers that we've got, we're going to score goals, and actually we're going to be very solid. Like you obviously seen tonight, looks like we've got another centre half in who again played on Saturday. I think the back line is already looking very good.
Well, that's good to build on, because that was the last season. I think we were about fourth tightest in terms of defence, weren't we?
Yeah, we had a good defensive record last season, and I do think a lot of, you know, there's basically, you either go gung ho and you just say we're going to score more than you, which I guess is exciting for the fans, or you go the other way and you say whatever happens, we're not going to let a goal in. Whatever, you know, the reality is we'll be somewhere between the two. We want to be very hard to break down. You look at some of the players we've got experience, we've got rigidity, we've got some solid, good defenders, and then we've got one of the best, most lethal strikers in the league, and we're trying to get the supply line right to him. I think some of the boys we've got potentially in those shirts behind the striker, I think we could cause people a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's saying, right, we're going to win the league, but what's a realistic target? Top 8? Top 5? Where do you think? Or you've not even had time to think about what that should be?
You know, everyone sets their own personal goals, don't they? Yeah. What I'm going to say on public to the world is to anyone who listens, is we finished 8th last season. you would probably say statistically the league's got harder with the teams that have come up and the teams that have come down.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go, you know, trying to make some massive promise that I can't back up. In terms of personal ambition, the fact the playoff system has now come into this division is massive, because it means instead of just competing for one place or two places, you're effectively competing for 5 places.
Yeah.
I'm not going to guarantee we'll be in there, but I think it's something to aim for.
Yeah, I think it's a realistic ambition, but like you say, it just depends on, will people keep throwing the money at it? Because whereas before you had certain clubs would get to about November, December, then pull the money when they realise they're not going to win. Now there's probably an incentive for people to keep playing that bit more.
I agree.
But also it gives us a chance.
Yeah, I agree with that
I
completely. And I also think you'll find anyone who's anywhere near probably top 10 even at Christmas, the really ambitious clubs will probably throw more at it. So, you know, if we're honest, I think it's going to be as competitive as some of the Step 4 leagues, particularly the top half. So, but you've got to be excited by that. You can't be scared.
Yeah.
You can't be worried. What's the point? You know, we're going to play in some dead league. You know, this is going to be a massive league this season, and that's why I think people want to play in it.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the secret weapon that Tunbridge Wells have got is the fan base. It's the supporters. You know, and I think like if they can see players, good players that are working hard, that are a tight-knit group, hopefully see some young local players involved in the mix as well, then I'm really hoping that everyone gets behind us, because when you did, which was most of the season, it did make a massive difference. I just wanted to make sure we give you stuff to cheer about, really.
Yeah, well, I think you definitely got a sort of, the initial reaction from everybody, all the fan base, has been really positive. When you showed up on Saturday, everybody was just jumping up and down, literally.
Wow.
There's Steve over there, there's Steve. You know, there's a positive reaction. So I think that's a given.
I mean, that's superb, and you know, I'm really happy that I left a good impression last time, and you know, Luke and myself, we're a good team. And yeah, it's nice to be welcomed back. You know, it'd be pretty horrible if you weren't. So I'm really grateful for that. You know, if I'm honest, at the point that I came on Saturday, it wasn't confirmed that I was going to take the job. Eastbourne Town were playing Tunbridge Wells. That's 2 teams that I've got a very close association with, and the team that I was with didn't have a game. So I probably would have been there watching as a supporter. I always said, you'll see me on the south stand if I haven't got a game. But yeah, obviously there was a little bit of extra interest because of the situation.
Yeah, but I think it can be summed up about when you left, everybody was really pleased you were leaving because you were going to get a manager job again.
No, I appreciate that.
And it's like everybody was pleased for you.
Yeah.
So I think, and like Joffrey coming back in, that's such a positive. You know, Barry Slowbrown, all the other coaches. There's a lot of positivity towards the people that are there. They're associated with the club.
Well, yeah, I think, you know, good people attract good people, and as I say, we were all welcome. You know, Luke got us into the club, and we all fell in love with the club. And let's, you know, I've got to say again, it even though some people might say it's a no-brainer, it was a massive decision for me to down tools on a project that I was committed to, and people will have their opinions about that, and some people possibly feel a little bit let down. But ultimately, as I say, I've got myself in a position where I feel I've left Upfield in the best possible hands, and I feel like to turn down the opportunity to manage my hometown club, the town I was born in, the town that my business is located in, with a group of players who, a lot of them are very good friends of mine, I just couldn't turn it down.
Yeah. But you were also talking about how it's going to be tough, because look at our first month's fixtures, and you got to, yeah, that's a bit of an excitement. You got a couple of tough Skeffel games, the FA Cup, the Vars, and then just to make it fun at the end of the month, you got the Rustall Derby.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously hitting the floor running, and ideally would have had a bit more time, but life throws curveballs at you. You just got to deal with them. I'll probably guess if you go through every month's fixtures, I don't think you're going to find one where you're going to go, oh, that's easy. Yeah. So, as I say, that's just the quality of this league, and throwing in the FA Cup and the Vars plus the Derby just adds that little bit of extra spice. But that's why you do it, isn't it?
Yeah. So, with that in mind, we'll be playing Holland and Blair on Saturday. I mean, have you got any particular message for the fans for Saturday?
You know, from my perspective, it would just be fantastic to have a good turnout at the Den on the first game. I can't really ask any more from you for that. You know, I know you support the side through thick and thin. Hopefully we'll give you more thick than thin, but you know, we're all excited football's back. Hopefully you guys are, and we'll just be doing everything we can to you know, get a bit of positivity around the place and give you guys something to cheer about.
Well, like I say, we're all feeling really positive. You look coming in positive. It's all exciting. Just can't wait for Saturday now. And good luck.
Yeah, let's crack on, and yeah, hopefully we have a great season together.